Hello everybody, it is me, Vincent. Happy New Year! Yay! I hope you all had a great holiday season. I hope you had a great New Year's, and I hope you are ready to kick off 2022 nice and strong. Because I know I am. I am starting 2022 off informatively at home here. Today I'm going to be doing a Universal Orlando Q&A vlog. A couple days ago, I had you guys ask me any questions you had about Universal. Trip advice, opinions, suggestions, and things like that. And I just wanted to do an off-the-cuff vlog, fun, quick vlog, giving you guys my opinions and suggestions from a seasoned Universal Orlando expert. That's me, by the way. I got a lot of really fun questions from you guys on here. Just general trip advice, hotel suggestions, opinions on rides and things like that. And I'm going to do my best to answer most of them in this video. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it with our first question. First question of the video goes to Katie Dreams Big on Instagram. She asked me, when is the best season or time of year to visit Universal Orlando Resort? I think, in my opinion, I think the two best months in general are February and November. I think I love those months. The parks are usually the quietest, and I think Universal in general versus like somewhere like Disney World always feels like it's busy every single time of the year. You can get to Universal in certain times of the year and it will be noticeably less busy. Like, there is a clear and definitive off season, and I think February and November are 2 months where it is pretty darn quiet. I mean, it's kind of like right in the middle of school. Everyone is either waiting for like spring break or they're waiting for Christmas time to show up. February, for the most part, is usually pretty pleasant weather. I think as someone who lives here in Florida, I just like the cold weather. So that's when we get it nice and cold here, and it's fun. The parks don't feel as torturous as they would in the summer when it's like 90 plus degrees. In November, it can get cold, but then you can also still get some warmer days like the 70s and 80s, which is, I guess, what you want to visit Florida for, right? So that's kind of the direction I'd point you in, February and November. But if you can't make those times, just try to pick a time that isn't close to a major holiday. Funkle Dean asks, what is the must-get snack or treat item at Universal? The easiest thing, it's gotta be butterbeer, right? Butterbeer is the most popular snack item at Universal. They started selling it in 2010, and by 2011, they had already sold 1 million butterbeers. So there has gotta be something to it, right? But as far as other options go, I think the crepe stand in the Hollywood area of the park is really, really popular. It has a long line all the time, but that is because they are making them fresh for you. They're not just sitting there under some sort of heat lamp. They are being made to order, and they're usually pretty darn delicious. Sweet and savory, they have all different types of options. I think the crepe stand is a really great spot. I love Over at Islands Adventure, green eggs and ham. The tots there are just a lot of fun. Also, they're tater tots. Who doesn't love tater tots? You can get buffalo chicken tots, you can get pizza tots, green eggs and ham tots. That's a really fun and unique dish, and that could be a nice, good, quick lunch if you're looking for that in the parks. This is a good one from Devin Husk. He asks how to have a fun and inexpensive day at Citywalk. Honestly, I think that's a little tough. Citywalk is a really great restaurant district, but it really is just kind of that, a restaurant area. It's not like Disney Springs where you can go to Disney Springs, get a quick bite, and then like walk around and explore. Citywalk is more of just like a place that you go through to get to the parks, unless you know you're gonna have lunch or dinner. But I would say if you're gonna try and have a fun night at Citywalk, it's gonna be something that happens in the evening, and you're gonna be at least 21 and older. Citywalk parking is free after 6 p.m., 10 o'clock during the Halloween Horror Nights season. But if you show up after 6, you can park for free. Maybe go ahead and get a drink at Fat Tuesday. Go look inside the Universal Legacy store, see some really cool props inside that store. And then go to one of my favorite clubs, Rising Star Karaoke. It is so cool, it is so fun. It is karaoke with a live band that is backing you up. I think that's a really fun, easy night at Citywalk. P. Mary Nake asks what your top 3 recommendations for sit-down restaurants are at Universal Orlando Resort. So that's the whole resort. Okay, not just Citywalk, not just the parks, the whole resort. I would say off the top of my head, number 1, Mythos restaurant inside Islands of Adventure. It truly is a really fantastic restaurant. It is a really great sit-down experience. I think one of the best sit-down experiences you can have inside a park, easily the best one at Universal Orlando. As far as out into Citywalk, Tufsum is the most popular restaurant there. It has a really great, solid dinner menu, and I've done food there before and I really enjoyed it, though it does take a little while. It definitely skews on like the longer side. Every time I've gone to Tufsum, I've had to wait a really long time. Anyone I know who's ever gone has had to wait a really long time, but it is a really fun restaurant, and it is definitely worth a visit if you've never been before, just for those awesome giant milkshakes. And then a third, I don't know, I gotta tie it up between Cowfish and Vivo. I really enjoy Cowfish. I think they have a really fun menu. They have a great selection of burgers. They have a lot of good sushi. That mixed burgushi menu is tons of fun. And Vivo is like really good pasta. Like I've really enjoyed Vivo all the times I've gone. I like it a lot. So I would kind of say those are my recommendations there. I know it's 4 technically, but you know, hey, what can you do? As far as the hotel scene goes, I have to admit I've actually never really eaten at any of the hotel restaurants. I should though. I should, and maybe I will soon. Danny G asks, which hotel on property do you recommend staying at? And I would say to that, it really depends what you're looking for. There are definitely some hotels that are better than others at Universal, just from like a value of what they offer. I am of course talking about the 3 deluxe resorts, Volcano Bay, Hard Rock Hotel, Royal Pacific. Those 3 are the closest to the park. They're connected by waterway, and then the big kicker is that they come with unlimited express for the length of your stay. So if you're staying at those, you have a big advantage where you have express that comes with your room key. It's awesome, fantastic. But I think Universal also does a really good job at providing different value hotels that all feel like really great spots. So all the Universal hotels are Lowe's owned and operated, which, if you don't know, that's like a pretty good hotel brand. Cabana Bay is a really great hotel. Endless Summer, I stayed at that very recently, and I thought that was pretty great as well. It really all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for just a crash pad though, and something maybe a little bit closer to Universal, I would say look at their sort of extra value hotels, their moderate hotels is what they call them. So something like Cabana Bay, Sapphire Falls, and Aventura, I think those get you closer to the parks. They can get you a really nice room at a fraction of the price of the deluxe rooms. It's tough to say. They're all really great, and it all really depends on how much money you're looking to spend and what you're trying to do with your vacation. And to quickly add on to the hotel discussion, Travelingo asks, what is the most affordable hotel at Universal that offers early park admission? The answer is Dockside or Surfside, the Endless Summer hotels. That is the most affordable Universal hotels. They're very affordable. They are on the lowest end, and they come with early park admission. In fact, all of the hotels come with early park admission. You might think that since technically Surfside and Dockside are like across the street, they're like off property, you might not be as close and you might sort of like lose the race of trying to be there early, but they run buses very frequently. We did it. It was like a 6-minute bus ride. It's not awful. Very good. But if you do want to be a little baby bit closer on that property, on the bubble, without having to like cross the highway, Cabana Bay, I would say, is like the next step up. The Crystal Palace asks, how is Volcano Bay in the winter? Honestly, it's like pretty awesome. It was maybe 80 degrees this Christmas here in Florida, so that should give you an idea of what to expect if you're trying to visit Volcano Bay in the wintertime. Now, January and February, it is more likely that the park will close for cold temperatures, so you always want to check the day before whether or not Volcano Bay is expected to close the next day. But, I mean, you can get days where it's like 70, 80 degrees, and depending on where you're from, that might be okay. But I think Volcano Bay in the winter isn't as pointless as some people might think it may be. Does that make sense? It's not that bad. You should go. Blue Messiah asks, is it worth it getting an annual pass if my fiance and I only go twice a year to Florida? Yes, absolutely yes. Especially if you go for multiple days. I think the best analogy I'm going to use in like recent memory for me was when I got a Disneyland annual pass. I paid about $370 for my 3-day park hopper ticket to Disneyland, and I knew that I was going to try and go again at some point within that year. So I upgraded to an annual pass. I paid about $285, and now I have my tickets covered for the next time I go. So I think if you are going within the same year and you're doing multiple days, it honestly might not be a bad idea. And like look into prices as well, and when you're trying to visit, because then you can like almost get away with upgrading to the lowest tier annual pass, the seasonal pass. If you're trying to show up during the busy times like Christmas and summer and so on, you might have to go straight to the preferred, but then it's also going to come with free parking, which honestly isn't that bad. And now, the next time you go, you're going to have discounts with your annual pass. You're going to be open to a lot more perks and value, like annual pass holder rates on hotel rooms, all that kind of stuff, your second time around. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it's a good thing to have, and if it keeps you coming to Universal, hey, why not? Now we're gonna start spicing things up a little bit. We're gonna start hitting into some hot takes. You guys sent me a lot of spicy questions about rides and where I think I should go. Do you like this or that better? All that kind of stuff. I'm gonna try to answer these to the best of my ability. These are just my opinions, so please be mindful of that. Nobody execute me for some of these thoughts, but we're gonna start off with an easy one. Chris Molina asks, if you could only go to one park while visiting Universal, which one would it be? And I would say it has got to be Islands of Adventure. Islands of Adventure has so much good going on right now. It is such a great park. It's got a great variety of rides, and it's just awesome. It's a beautiful park. All the different lands are so wonderfully themed. It has some really great roller coasters, great rides, fun places to eat, fun things to see and do. It's a great park. It's also very easy to get around and knock everything out. The whole park is built like a circle. So you could like show up at 9 a.m., go do the circle, ride all the big rides in each land, and then make it back to the front and say, wow, I had a great day. I love Islands of Adventure. Ryan Fliplicious asks, IOA now has 3 AAA coasters. What should Universal do to make studios comparable again? Is like my brain process right now. You know, Islands of Adventure got Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure and then the Velocicoaster. So when early park admission happens, everyone starts their day over at Islands Adventure. It is the hot park. It is the great park. It is awesome. And, you know, I think for a lot of people, apart from Diagon Alley and like The Mummy or something, I don't know, there's really not that much going on. Oh, and E.T. Sorry, people like E.T. too. We can't forget about E.T. But you're right. Like, what does Universal Studios need to make it an adequate park, a comparable park, so that when you get to Universal in the morning, you go, oh my gosh, where do we want to start? At Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios? I don't know. It's tough to say. Whatever it is, I think I'm fine with Islands of Adventure being considered the roller coaster park, right? Like with the Hulk, with Hagrid's, with Velocicoaster, you got 3 awesome roller coasters. Keep all the roller coaster people over there. Let's give Universal Studios something fun, interactive, awesome, that isn't necessarily just another simulator ride. Now we know that Nintendo has been announced for Universal's Epic Universe whenever that does open up. That's going to be one of the anchors of that park. But you know, part of me also kind of wishes like it had just come to Universal Studios. Like if they never built Epic Universe, which for the record, I do want them to build Epic Universe. Like I really, really am looking forward to that park. But if there was some sort of world where that didn't happen and we got Nintendo over at Universal Studios Florida, I think that would be pretty darn awesome. That would really be balancing the scales as far as what people want to start their day with. I think we need to get some massive brand new land completely out of left field, something super awesome and unexpected over at Universal Studios. Ryan Fliplicious coming in with the spicy questions once more. He asks, what is one Universal IP that is not in the park that you would make into an attraction? Honestly, I think in general, like speaking on Universal Orlando side, I don't think they're using DreamWorks enough. And I remember that being a really big deal when Universal acquired the DreamWorks company. And it's nice because, I mean, there's some stuff, but like Trolls are super popular and like even Kung Fu Panda and all that kind of stuff. And I know they exist in some way in the other parks. And I know we have the DreamWorks Destination, which is a fun meet and greet in like the absolute back of the park. Like, I don't think that's enough. And I think Kid Zone, you know, talking about dated areas in the park, I think that is an area that could definitely do well with a full-on revamp. And I think DreamWorks is a great way to do it. Like, where are the trolls? Where are the trolls? People love trolls, right? I've never even seen trolls, and I like trolls. So, where are the trolls? Joe Living It Up asks, what is the best ride order when rope dropping at Universal? I would say, just pick what you like. Actually, no, I would not say that. Don't pick what you like. There are 2 rides at each park that get very, very busy. At some point during the day, you need to head to Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts if you're starting at Universal Studios, and Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure if you're starting at Islands of Adventure. Gringotts is a really interesting situation because if you get there early in the morning, it will be a pretty darn low wait. You can get on without having to wait at all, and now you've knocked it out and you've done this really great ride at the start of the day. But if you show up later in the day, it'll be busy. And Hagrid's, I don't know, it's a kind of a tricky one. Hagrid's is just like busy all the time, so it's not so much of like, oh, it's gonna be a low wait in the morning. It's more just like, get it over with. Just get it over with. Also, every single person in the morning is gonna go straight to Hagrid's, so just get in line, knock it out, and hopefully if you're one of the first few, you can get on quicker than the others. So this is a fun one, and I'm gonna try to figure this one out. And this is a fun one that I definitely want to like talk about a little bit. Josh Flores 93 asks, why does Universal have better ride experiences than Walt Disney World overall? Now, this is a good question, and I think this is, let me see, this is a hard one to answer. I think the way Universal treats their ride experience and their theme park experience is a little different than Walt Disney World. I think Disney World, in general, there is a lot of nostalgia going into the park. So especially you look at something like Magic Kingdom, where a lot of those rides have been there since when that park first opened up. And when you go on Space Mountain, you want to go and bring your grandkids to Space Mountain, or your little cousin, or your little nephew, or something like that. You know, you want them to sort of experience the same ride that you did. Or when you go to Disneyland, even more so, you get to go on some rides that have existed since 1955. You know, that is part of the whole Disney experience. That's part of visiting this classic attractions. Universal doesn't really operate like that. Universal is always trying to build something bigger and greater than before. For the most part. But it is easy to see that whenever they build a new ride, it's not really like a downgrade, or at least in their minds, they don't think it's a downgrade. Like, some could argue that Fast and Furious technologically is an upgrade from Earthquake and Disaster. Was it a good idea? Not really, no. But technologically, it was an upgrade. You know, you look at Dragon Challenge, these 2 really intense roller coasters getting replaced by Hagrid's, which is a very worthy replacement. Like, I think they're always looking to build up and not so much trying to add and fill in blanks and spaces at Universal. So I think because of that, you're always going on these, all the rides all have these really big immersive experiences, and we're starting to see that more with Disney World. Things like Flight of Passage and Rise of the Resistance are awesome experiences at Walt Disney World, and they are totally up there as far as great ride experiences go. But I think Universal has always just been trying to do that every single year for a very long time. Even when just like starting at Islands of Adventure to now, that's what their MO has been. And then we got one last question, and this is sort of a general question that a lot of people asked, but they were talking about Shrek 4D. Chris J 89 asks, what do you think / want Shrek 4D to turn into? Shrek 4D is going to be closing in a couple days. It is an attraction that has been here since, I think, 2003. So it is a very, very old ride and is due for a replacement, and it's going to get replaced. What is going to replace it? We don't really know. A lot of people on the internet have their ideas, and there's lots of speculation. There's the Secret Life of Pets over at Universal Hollywood, which is a really great dark ride in a really small space. Like, they've done a really, really great way to fit it into that small park, and I would love to see something like that over here. But also, I just don't want like the same rides in Universal in Orlando and Hollywood. You know what I mean? I want there to be some variety. Like, why would I visit Universal Hollywood if all the same stuff is here in Florida, right? So I do hope that, like, on the topic of them building bigger and better and always trying to outdo themselves, I do hope that they focus a little bit more on filling the gaps of the resort and the parks and what they need for all of the guests who visit Universal Orlando. So maybe we don't need a crazy simulator ride that has a really restrictive seat, or some crazy roller coaster that flips you around 7 times that only like 30% of the people visiting the park are going to want to ride. You know, maybe we should do like a small family ride with no height requirement, that has a lot of animatronics, and it's something that everyone can experience without having to get onto a test seat or something like that. I think, you know, that's something that Disney World does really, really well with a lot of their classic attractions like Haunted Mansion, the Pirates of the Caribbean, even Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and like Ratatouille, newer rides. Those are really great e-ticket experiences that don't have high requirements, and the majority of people can get on them. So I hope that whatever goes into that space there ends up being something like that. I hope we find out soon, because that would be really, really nice, because Velocicoaster opened up and that was our last announced attraction for Universal, and now up until Epic Universe opens up in a couple years from now, we don't really know what to expect here at Universal Orlando, which is exciting, but you know, tell us something, right? Give us something, please, please. But anyway, that is all I got, folks. Thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year, everybody. It's going to be an awesome year. I can feel it. I mean, it's got to be, right? Anything's going to be better than last year. I'm hoping for some really awesome fun at all the theme parks, not just Universal. And I will see you at the next one, guys. Thank you guys for watching and being with me. I'm excited to make these videos for you guys throughout all of 2022. Bye-bye. Elevator. Boop. Bye-bye.